Hi, I have my tea, and I felt like a pounding in my head when I was in the store. I was like, what is this stress I'm feeling? I'm feeling like a little tension. And I was like, what is this about? Why is my mind focusing in on this? And then I made up my mind that whatever it is, I'm going to talk about it when I pull over. So then I pull over, and in my spirit drops three generations of men that I know who are raising another woman's children, and even grandchildren, but didn't raise their own or abandoned their own children, their own flesh, their own blood. So you're going to raise somebody else's child, but not your own. That hurts. That hurts just to say that you could literally be raising some woman's child and you don't or you won't even raise your own. Are you stupid? That is your lineage. That is your legacy. Let me go back a little bit. One thing about in Africa, even though I was not raised there, I know that when a child is born in Africa, that is a great thing. They are so happy. In fact, you could get divorced if you can't give your wife a child. I mean, that's a huge blessing in Africa, where there is very little food, a lot of poverty, and little money. And you're trying to tell me that you can literally be stationed in the United States of America and raise somebody else's children but won't raise your own? That is disgusting. That's disgusting. And I really must say that if you are the child of a father that is running around parading himself as a great stepdad or a great granddad or whatever he's fooling himself into believing that he is, shame on him. Shame on the woman as well. Shame on her as well for allowing him to call himself raising her children when he hasn't even passed the ultimate test of being able to raise his own. Shame. And that is why Girls at Heart magazine is here, because the pain goes a lot deeper than your boyfriend. Sometimes it starts way back with your dad. Sometimes you, the parent, have to watch your own child have to suffer that same affliction. And I've seen it. And you know I'm going to testify at the end of this, so stay tuned. It's very painful. What would make someone not want to raise their own child or have a significant role in that child's life? What makes somebody have selective rearage rituals that they decide they want to do is beyond me. But what I will say is that healing has to take place. Now, if you're mad because the truth comes out and it becomes knowledge that you've done this shameful thing, if this comes out, you're going to be mad, right? Why would someone do something that they would not want? Why would you do something if you're ashamed of it? If you're ashamed of what you've done, then why would you do it? You shouldn't do something that you're ashamed of, because have you heard of freedom of speech? If you're molesting kids, if you're robbing kids, if you're lying and doing things wrong to their mother and whatever else that you may have done or may be doing wrong, in the country that I live in, I don't know about you, but we have every right to talk about it. And we have every right to expose it. You can even earn money off of it if you really are wise and you know how to write. You can write about it. It's called healing. Healing in motion. And a lot of you men, you have to realize that these, and women, because some women are doing it too, these children that are hurt, now have access to a very powerful tool. Social media is a powerful tool. And all they have to do is take that mic in their hand and they can expose you. And protecting them does not benefit you. It doesn't benefit you. If you're protecting someone from something that they did wrong, first of all, they shouldn't have done it. But what are you protecting them from? Or if they're not proud of neglecting to raise you, then, I'm sure they have their reason why. I can't possibly understand it. But at least 21 years you are deserved. And I'm not saying that raising a child only consists of finances. No, you could be a parent who has very little, but if you love that child and you show that child love, you've done more than what the parent that just loads that child with money is doing. If you tell that child how important they are. I remember somebody said to me once in my family, she is a pretty, they said, you're a pretty dark-skinned girl. She's a pretty dark-skinned girl. Why can't I just be pretty? Why do I have to be pretty to be a dark complexioned girl? Am I rare? Is it rare for dark-skinned girls to be pretty? That in itself set me down a downward spiral concerning my looks, because I felt as though this dark complexion that I had was not in the positive realm. And that's just the beginning, because you got to remember, we go to school with these dark complexions, and these dark complexions are frowned upon amongst other African Americans. And that's for a myriad of reasons, and we'll get into that one day. But back to the men who are not raising their own children, and women who are not raising their own children but are trying to parade around and raise other people's children. Shame on you. You're breaking your children. You're breaking your generation. You're breaking your lineage, and you're breaking the hearts of the women that are actually the mothers that have to try to heal these children, or the fathers that have to try to heal these children who are dealing with abandonment. So whoever you are, if you're dealing with abandonment, I felt something in my spirit, and I know it's my own abandonment that I have to deal with. And that's why I am the creator and I am the Youth Duchess, because I also was broken as a child. Now, I may not have experienced a lot of the same issues that some have, but I must say, watching my father raise two other daughters and not me and my sister hurt like HE double hockey sticks. Watching my son then go on to have that same thing happen to him by his dad hurt like double HE. It hurt. And the sad thing about it is that people that hurt you, they don't know how to come to you and say, I'm sorry. Why? Because they've got to be broken in order to do some mess like that. And then you parade those children around the children that you have as if they're supposed to smile and Why don't you start by saying, I'm sorry? Better yet, don't apologize until you're ready to actually be the absent parent that you are. Why? Because a child can always need a shoulder to rest on. And a lot of people always say, oh, Chastity Child, why do you call Daddy Jesus, Daddy Jesus? She's always Daddy Jesus, Daddy Jesus. And even got to the point where my mom will be, well, Daddy Jesus, what would Daddy Jesus think, And I'm going to tell you the reason why. I'm sorry. Whew, this is emotional. It's emotional because when I asked Daddy if I could call him Daddy Jesus, it was because I needed to know what it was like to have a daddy. And my daddy lived around the corner from me, and he raised somebody else's kids. And I began to call him Daddy Jesus. And look at me. I mean, really look at me. I was hit by a car twice. See that, Mark? Twice. And I walk, talk, I'm creative. I am a nonprofit owner. I have a magazine. I encourage. I love on children. Because I don't ever want anyone else to ever have to learn to heal by keeping silent. No. That's not how you heal. You write poems, you sing, you build, you mold clay, you help other people. That is how you heal. You don't have to keep secrets. There's no secrets in the kingdom, okay? God knows all about it, sweetheart, and his opinion is the only one that matters. You don't have to keep secrets, okay? This is Sister K. This is Chastity Child, and I love you. Rock your day. And if anybody is ashamed, guess what? They shouldn't have done it, because if they've done it and if they're still doing it, which is the case, then they're exposed, and maybe that will help them. And if not, guess what? That secret is not hidden from the King. He knows. He sees and knows all. And don't think that you're protecting somebody that's molested you or done something harmful to you by keeping it a secret. No, you're not. Because guess what? Somebody else is going to be harmed from it. And women that think they're profiting off of watching somebody else's daddy raise your children and neglect his children, shame and woe unto you. Because it may not hit you in this lifetime, but honey, you got generations to come. And they'll have your nasty, inconsiderate behind to think about it. Okay? Because had you left that man in his household, and man, had you stayed in your household, you wouldn't have broken generations behind you. But you can break that generational curse today by telling your story. It is by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. Love not your life unto death. You tell it. If you've been hurt, if you've been victimized, if you've been raped, whoever, write a story about it. Get paid for it. Send it to Girls at Heart magazine. Send it to us. We'll publish it. We'll tell your story. And every time you read it or you want to testify about it, send them the link. Let people know I've been through. But because of it, look at who I am today. They'll see you. I'm going to see you too.